Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to talk about the distributive property of multiplication. As you're looking at this array, you can see that we have actually a pretty large array. And sometimes doing an array or a math fact this large is a lot to handle. So one thing that we can do is we can use the distributive property and we can actually break apart this array into two smaller arrays to help us understand the math fact and solve it. So let's go ahead and let's look at our large array that we have here. Okay. If I'm going to write the multiplication fact for this array, I know that it is 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Okay, I have 4 rows. So Mrs. Stewart's going to go ahead and write that down so I don't forget that. That 4 is my very first number, okay, my very first factor. So I have 4 times, well, let's see how many are in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my next factor is 5. Okay, so 4 times 5 equals, now this might be an easy fact for you, but it might be difficult for others. So what we can do is we can actually break down this fact. How we're going to do it is we're going to literally break apart this array. So I'm going to draw a line right down the middle here, okay? And it's not exactly right in the middle. I can actually break apart my array anywhere I want. So if I wanted to break it apart right up here and go straight down, I could. If I wanted to break it apart over here, I could have. But this is where I chose to break it apart. And then notice I sort of made one side blue so it's easier for you to see. And I've made one side green. So now what we're going to do is we are going to actually make this 2 arrays. Okay, so I'm going to actually make 2 arrays now for this problem. Okay, so let me start with my first array. If I look at just my blue section, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I still have 4 rows. So I still have 4 times, but now look, how many I have in each row is different. Count with me. 1, 2, 3. I now only have 3 arrays. I'm sorry, 3 objects inside my row in the array. So my array for this problem is 4 times 3. Okay, I'm going to center this up. You might notice that I added parentheses. That's those little items that curve in like this. Okay, and that's something that we use in math to group things. So I want to show that 4 times 3 is my first group. Okay, all right. I'm then going to go ahead and add in the middle of these two, I'm going to go ahead and add a plus sign because I'm actually adding these 2 arrays together. So I'm going to sort of put my plus sign where my dividing point is. Okay, so now I need to figure out my next array. So again, how many rows do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 rows times, well, how many are in each row? 1, 2. Good job. And then I'm going to end with a parentheses to show that grouping. All right, I'm not done yet because I don't have an answer. Okay, I need to have an answer to this problem. I'm going to move this up a little bit so I can have some more room. Okay, so now I need to figure out what is 4 times 3. Well, that's a much easier problem to manage. And I know that 4 times 3, well, 4 times 3 is 12, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put 12, whoops, not there, under here, 12. And then notice my plus sign. The plus sign stays there. And what is 4 times 2? And remember, if you don't know 4 times 2, you can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 8. So now I have the problem of 12 plus 8, which equals, count it up, good job, 20. If you said 20, awesome, you got it. Okay, so now I know that 4 times 5 is 20. So this is the distributive property. The distributive property breaks apart an array and it turns it into 2 arrays that I then add together to get my total. All right, let's go on to the next one and let's try another one together.